What's going on, everybody? Brian here from Brian's Broadcast. I hope all of you are doing fantastic. Today's topic is slightly different than the other days that I usually do fragrance reviews on. Today I'm going to talk about the saltiness in fragrances. Yes, people, I barely saw, or in fact, I never saw anybody talk about salty fragrances. Let's talk about some salty fragrances that I have in my collection. Again, all these fragrances have been reviewed on my channel. Feel free to check them out. I'm going to leave it in the description below, the links for those reviews, and I'm not going to go into too much details. Let's begin. Let's make this a trend. Salty fragrances for the win. Let's go ahead. Starting with something from the house of ORTO PARISI. You must have guessed it already. It's the king of saltiness, MEGAMARE. If you have not smelled this fragrance, or if you have no understanding of what this thing is all about, you're missing out a lot. This is like the Kraken released in the ocean on a very bad stormy day. Kraken's released, it's about to bring down the ship. This fragrance is something beyond this universe. Like the longevity, the projection power. I have never, ever come across anything as potent as this. Like, use it with caution. Saltiness overloaded, like phenomenal stuff. Again, it might not dry out as nicely because sometimes, like the skin canister doesn't work. There's kind of like an iodine kind of vibe. Like, you get almost like a medicinal kind of vibe, but that's not on all days. But the saltiness is like through the roof. Like, imagine being drowned in a canister or in a drum of salt. Like, this is something else. But it's very refreshing. Feels almost like being in the ocean, out in the ocean, where it's a very stormy day, and the waves are splashing left and right, and the ship's just rolling and pitching. That's MEGAMARE from ORTO PARISI. Next up, something from the house of DOLCE GABBANA. Who doesn't know this one? You already know probably. This is DOLCE GABBANA Light Blue Intense. Phenomenal stuff, like zesty, refreshing bergamot and grapefruit balm with that pinch of saltiness and aquatic vibe. Sometimes people refer to this fragrance as like an eggy fragrance because, again, I believe the ambergris and stuff is it's not probably working with your skin, but again, for whomever it is working, this is a phenomenal stuff. Has the saltiness, which just works. It's very refreshing. If you have not got it, or if you're still wondering, like, should I get it or not, I highly recommend give it a shot. Get a decant, get a sample. You'll love it, I can assure you. Next up, this is a first from this house, and this is called Tom Ford's Oud Minerale. I mean, beautiful stuff. This is like the peppery, smoky saltiness, like beautiful stuff. It's at a whole different level. Very masculine. I'm not saying this cannot be used by females. 100% can be pulled off if that person loves heavy, rich, dense, smoky, and sharp peppery fragrance. The saltiness just adds to its character. Like, it's very complex, it feels very sophisticated, and it's very beautifully done. Next up, this is a fragrance from the house of Precious Liquid. I called it, or when I reviewed it, I called it a fragrance that's kind of like a holy fragrance. Why do I say that? It's because it lingers in the air, it just stays around you, just like an aura of white light. This is none other than Blue Agave. Must try from this house. The agave note with that saltiness from the oceanic and aquatic vibe, it's just phenomenal. It's something to die for. On a hot summer day, doesn't matter if it's like one of those dry hot days or like a humid one, maybe your skin's sweating, this fragrance is just gonna waft out and emit that beautiful scent, which is very unique. I wouldn't say this is like something you smell every other day. Like, this is something very unique. It just lingers in the air. It's not one of those loud projectors, but Blue Agave will stand out. It leaves a beautiful scent trail, and in the air, it's beautiful. I just love it. Must try Blue Agave from Precious Liquid. Next up, something from the house of SILLAGE, and this is number 3. This is like a whole different level of fragrance. Like, it has this beautiful oceanic, ozonic vibe with the hints or like notes of something called lava rocks. Like, there's this kind of like a tad bit smokiness, and then there's this darkness to it. So imagine on a bright, beautiful, bright day at the seaside, and then suddenly it turns into a dark, like a storm's kicking in, about to hit the coast, something like that. It's beautiful, has this beautiful floral notes, again, very masculine and totally unisex, I would say, but masculine in the sense that, like, when it turns dark, I mean, ladies might not appreciate it as much, but definitely works on a guy, 100%, and it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Phenomenal longevity, heads up. Next up, something from the house of AMOUROUD. This is called White Sands. Let me know in the comment section below which place you have been to that have white sands. Bali, or I don't know, Cancun, or just let me know, guys. I have not seen a beach where you get those white sands. Like, yeah, I would definitely love to visit something. But this fragrance, AMOUROUD White Sands, is something that you would expect to experience during a vacation at a beautiful beach where the water is beautifully blue and you get this white sands. You're relaxing by the seaside. Phenomenal stuff. Has this floral notes which breaks down into an aquatic salty note, and the whole change, the way it develops and breaks down, is just otherworldly. I have not come across a fragrance that breaks down as beautifully as this one. Phenomenal stuff. Perfect for summer and hot days, and like definitely has a beautiful longevity. Leaves a great scent trail and has this beautiful sillage and everything. Keeps you covered in a beautiful scent bubble. Must check it out. White Sands from the house of AMOUROUD. Oh, did I forget? There's a hint of saltiness. Not too much, but you get it. You get that watery, aquatic, oceanic vibe along with the saltiness. And why do I select the saltiness? Because like not all aquatic fragrances have that saltiness to it. Next up, I hope you did not forget BVLGARI AQVA, the OG. Now this is what, I mean, this was probably one of the first aquatic and salty kind of fragrance in my collection, and I just loved it. I loved it so much that even till today, this is a 150 ml bottle. It's a very unique bottle, and I mean, back in the days, like, this was iconic. I think even in this day, this is still iconic. Beautiful fragrance, like, I mean, I don't get to use it too much because I already have so many fragrances, but I absolutely adore it. Like on hot days, especially like the humid ones, that's the time when I would use this fragrance. Zesty, citrus opening, and this beautiful aromatic seaweed, salty vibe. It's drying down. Beautiful stuff. I mean, even on this day, like in 2023, I just still love this fragrance so much. If you have not tried it yet, I highly recommend you should. Last but not the least, something from the house of Musk Milano. This is White Whale. They used a very interesting note of salty rope accord. Now, this is something they're trying to interpret as the ropes of a ship that have been soaked up in the salty waters, and as it's drying down in the sun or in the influence of heat, or, you know, on the docks. Like, as it dries down, it has this like a kind of like a dry and yet a salty kind of feel that gives you the vibe of the ocean, like something has been out there and then it's returned to land, and then it's like it's expressing itself, something in that nature. Also, the wateriness and the aquatic vibe is definitely there. The floral and the fruity part is just something you would absolutely adore. Very interesting fragrance, dries down very smoothly, very much pleasant, and especially works best on those hot, humid days. Longevity beyond 8 to 10 hours. If you can get this thing, I highly recommend give it a shot. Guys, that was my take on salty fragrances. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your salty fragrances? What's your salty experience now? Tell me about it. Tell me all. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet, I highly recommend you do so, because I do a lot of fragrance reviews. I will be traveling very soon again. I was just down because of work, but then again, we all have to deal with it. Work and life, you know, keeping a balance. So, please take care, stay safe, and until the next video, make sure you put that thumbs up and you stay tuned to my channel. Thank you for being a fantastic audience. Take care. Have a good day.